Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Harsh Language Podcast. This is episode 80. We got a good one today. I'm just going to say right now, there's going to be a lot of me bitching today. I just want you guys to both prepare yourselves for that, and anybody listening. Yeah, I'm coming in.
It's another Tuesday.
I'm coming in hot, baby.
Just another show.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking fuming. No, it's cool. But yeah, no, we got a good one. We're talking about Anyone But You. Recent film came out, rom-com. And a couple of other things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the True Detective finale. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that, Marvin. Dusty, you watched it?
I watched it.
I'm not, but you guys could just talk about it.
Yeah. Don't waste your
time. It
time.
doesn't seem like it's that good anyway, so I mean, I'll probably finish it, but
yeah, we'll talk about it. Save your time and watch season one.
It's not that great, so
save yourself. Do yourself a favor.
I do love the. Well, we could talk about it later.
Yeah, but yeah, stick around for those things, folks, and of course, Dusty will bring us all the good news of the week. If you have not done so already, consider subscribing. It helps us out quite a bit. Leave a like on the video.
Just
let them know, Marvin.
They just need to subscribe.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't need to say it.
Yeah, that's it. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach out to us on Twitter or our website where all our links live, harshlanguage.tv. I saw the Phantom in the back.
He was lit up that time. He's fucking.
But I saw that.
Not in the shadows.
I was looking at my other monitor, so I just barely saw it, so it didn't scare me this time.
What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
How was your guys' weekend?
Oh, it's been good.
Yeah?
I've been
doing
some... He's in and out. He's just up out of there.
He's quick,
I've been doing some gaming, some action RPG gaming.
Nice.
So that's been good.
Cool.
I actually didn't tell Dusty about this. He might have known already. That game, Last Epoch, which is like...
I've heard of it, yeah.
They're having a 1.0 release in 2 days from this recording.
Is it coming out oh, wow.
Yeah, so... Actually coming out on our friend Owen's birthday. So,
how do you know Owen's birthday and I don't?
Because he told me it was coming out on his birthday.
Oh, okay. All right, that's good. At least you remembered.
So I'm gonna check that out for sure. Yeah.
How about you, Dusty? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. I've been busy with work, but been watching a few things. I actually finally got around to watching Gremlins: Secrets of the Mogwai.
Oh, that came out?
Oh shit, that's out.
Really fucking good.
That's the animated one, right?
Yes.
But we are still waiting for a sequel or another show. I forget.
We're waiting on another movie. There's another Gremlins movie coming out, but this was a show. It's a prequel to the original movie, and it's actually it's pretty dark.
Was it good though? It was good.
It's good. Yeah.
There's a lot of
good. I don't remember who put that out.
That's a trick question. No, I'm just kidding.
It might be on Apple or Prime. I think it's on Prime.
Well, that's
Prime
okay.
sounds,
Yeah.
I like
got
that.
My tickets for Dune 2 for IMAX. Going to see it with a couple friends. So excited about that.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. That's coming out soon.
Sunday.
IMAX.
Oh, is this Sunday it comes out?
Second or third. No, March. Beginning of March.
Maybe we could all commit to go seeing it in the theater so we could.
Yeah.
Talk
Whenever
about
you guys get to it, it's fine. But I'm going.
Yeah, we'll see.
To the IMAX. So, I also watched a couple terrible movies.
So did I.
Actually, not a couple terrible. But I watched Air Force One Down. Just because I wanted to watch it.
The title makes it sound terrible.
It's the Catherine McNamara. It's a remake of White House Down or those other movies with Gerard Butler and what's his name.
What's it called?
Air Force One Down.
Air Force One Down. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a terrible name.
The plot is so ridiculously absurd that it's bad, but it also kind of makes it funny. But the action scenes are pretty good. Catherine McNamara does an amazing job kicking ass. It's pretty. The action is good, but that's the only redeeming value of this movie. Other than that, it's just laughably absurd.
Bro, I could have told you from the thumbnail of this movie that it was fucking terrible. This looks like. This is who I don't even know who this person is. Catherine McNamara. Who is she? Where is she from? I don't know who she is. Oh, she's an Arrow. Okay.
Her protege, role model, I guess.
Oh, she played the female
Secret Service agent.
No, I'm saying she was in Green Arrow, but she played the female Green Arrow. Right. Yeah, no, this looks terrible. I could have warned you about that, but yeah, that's cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see it, but I also watched Land of Bad, which just came out, which we may want to read. It's all right. It's Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth. It's a military action movie, but I know you hate those, so
yeah.
It was a fun watch. Good action.
Bad.
Yeah.
That looks bad too from the thumbnail. Mm-hmm. Everybody's making these like posters nowadays. It's like a weird thing I see as a graphic designer. I notice a lot of like, this is like stylistically used a lot. It's like two prominent like heads or something, and then in the bottom it's like the group. It's like a Marvel thing.
Classic.
Well, it's like an old Star Wars thing, but it like Marvel kind of revived it with like the Avengers posters, and now I guess just everybody uses it.
Hey, it works.
But yeah, Russell Crowe is a drone operator, and Liam Hemsworth is like a JTAC guy. He's the guy on the ground that's supposed to direct Russell Crowe what to do, but shit goes south on this rescue, and so they have to work together to get him out.
Do you remember that other drone movie that came out a couple years back with fucking was it Jake Gyllenhaal? Oh man,
I don't remember who was in it. When I think of the Jack Ryan show, there was a drone operator in that one that kind of went off the path. And
no, man, what is the movie? It was actually like not bad. It might be like one of the last like, was it Drone? No, it wasn't Drone. Couldn't have been. Can't be that easy. Oh man, it was like, damn, you don't remember it?
No,
it was a movie.
Don't.
Yeah, it was a movie about like a. It was a movie about like a drone pilot operator, and it was like takes place like in Iraq or like Afghanistan or something like that. And
the only thing that comes to me is the Jack Ryan show where the drone operator.
No, it wasn't a show.
You know what I'm talking about though? Like he feels bad about it, and he goes all the way out there and meet the parents. He's like, "Your son's gone," and he buys all their eggs and shit.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched
How
that.
recent was it?
Within the last 10 years, probably.
Was it called Good Kill?
Nope. Eagle Eye, that's the one. Wait, is it Eagle Eye?
Not about, that's about AI.
Yep, that's not it. No, that's not it. Eye in the Sky? Maybe? Nope, that's not it either.
Was it called Drone?
Wait, no, it's not that. Wait, is it this? No, it's not Eye in the Sky.
All these are Tubi movies. There's no way you watched the Tubi movie.
No, it was like a fucking, like there's a lot of fucking, I think it's this. I think it's Good Kill maybe, but I don't think it's this actually. This has
That's a Tubi movie.
Ethan Hawke. What is Tubi? I don't know what that even means.
Tubi is like the lowest
like
of low
Hulu
budgets.
Kinda, but yeah. Or Crackle, Sony's Crackle.
Man, this is gonna fucking bother me for like the rest of my goddamn life. I want to say like fucking like Jake Gyllenhaal was in it or fucking somebody like that, and like I remember there's like scenes that are shot through the fucking perspective of the drone. Whatever.
Well, they also did. What was the? There was also the Jason Bourne movie had a drone. Nope. One of those was like drone specific, where he shoots it out of the sky. But yeah, I don't know. Comment down below if you know what movie Dan's talking about.
Someone's gonna fucking flame us like it's obviously this, you fucking morons.
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard to even look too, because like films featuring drones, like Google thinks it's like drones to use to film shit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, military drone movies. I just got to see real quick. Anyhow, what else have you watched while I look this up?
I actually started The Bear. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Oh nice.
I've heard
that goes. Yeah,
I've heard pretty much nothing but good things about that.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently I gotta go back out to California sooner than I thought. I was gonna go out there in April, but I guess I'm gonna have to go back up there in March sometime. So I'll be traveling again soon.
I think it's Eye in the Sky. Soon. Sorry to interrupt you. I think it's Eye in the Sky.
Yeah, fine.
Because, yeah, the drone was like a weapon, and it was like the size of like a fucking mosquito or some shit. I'm pretty sure it's... Oh, yeah. It's this, because fucking... That's who it was. Not Jake Gyllenhaal. It was fucking Aaron Paul. Yeah. This is the movie I was thinking of. Have you ever seen this?
I don't know if I've ever seen that movie. I had to put it on my list.
It wasn't bad, if I remember correctly.
Land of Bad is not bad.
It has bad in the title, Dusty, so I don't know if I could trust it.
Land of Bad.
I did a little watching myself, so... Well, not really. I've watched the movie that we're here to talk about today. I finished True Detective, and then subsequently started binging the first season of True Detective to fucking wash the foulness out of my mouth.
Baptized.
I had to get baptized.
Yeah.
Baptized by good content.
Yeah, let's talk about this, all right? Because I've been seeing a lot of, as you do, Reddit and Twitter are just wastelands of fucking commentary.
Yeah.
But something funny happens when you dangle representation in front of audiences. They just lose their fucking minds. Okay?
And you mean negatively or positively? Or both?
No, people just lose all ability to like judge something on its merits. And
yes.
You know, they always say the best indicators of great storytelling is like having to explain it to everyone after it's over. And what really irritated me is there's like Issa Lopez, the writer of this, is she's posting on her Twitter account like all these links of her interviews with like Los Angeles Times and Rolling Stone and this and that, and it's just all of her being like explaining every fucking loose end that the show didn't wrap up because the writing was terrible. But the funny thing is over on Twitter and Reddit is that if you didn't like this show, if you have any criticism of it whatsoever, you are just a white man who hates women, hates representation, and just didn't understand what this series was trying to do. Conversely, if you like it, you're just a white liberal fucking, you know, whatever the fuck. So there's like no real in between. Obviously, I don't hate women. I thought the acting in this was the strongest part of this. I thought the acting was fucking great, and I'm sure Dusty could agree with me.
From what I saw too, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
and the setting was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jodie Foster's
cinematography was good.
Yeah, Jodie Foster's a fucking legend. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like she's a fucking legend in the industry for a reason. Callie Ray, I wasn't familiar with her before this. I hope I pronounced that right. She was fucking great in it. Some of the supporting cast were pretty good, but the writing was just not good. And like, me saying that does not mean that like, oh, I fucking didn't understand. There's nothing to understand. So, Marvin, how far did you actually get in this? Out of curiosity.
Third episode is what we got to.
All right. So, yeah.
But like I said, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead.
No, I'm just curious what you got because I need you to have context for what I'm talking about. But you basically got the bulk of the mystery because it's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
There's no meat to it whatsoever. And it's like everything they built up like went nowhere. Okay. You have like the mystery of the 6 episodes answered for you, which is like what happened to this group of researchers. And then there was like the little side mystery of like what happened to Annie all those years ago or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And like the two are connected, which I guess was to be expected because, well, you know, it is what it is. It was pretty obvious that they were going to be connected. I didn't quite get how, like, I didn't figure it out. And as you guys know, I'm good at like figuring shit out. I did not figure this one out. So it did take me for a loop, but that doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. And
so basically what happened, Annie was a activist against this like mining company working here in this town of Venice that was, their pollution was causing stillbirths and like all this stuff. And
America.
But they were doing it on purpose so that they
well, hang on. And Annie was dating one of the Salal researchers, and she discovered the fact that the researchers, this is the big revelation, Marvin, is that the researchers, they were like drilling into the ice trying to like harvest like ancient DNA. It's the most ambiguous like umbrella fucking thing that they could be doing as scientists. Like, we're just extracting things from the ice. So anyhow, it turns out that these scientists discovered that the pollution of the mining facility made digging in the ice easier. They don't explain why. you would just assume it was like melting the fucking ancient ice that's billions of years old or something. I don't know. The permafrost, the billions of year old permafrost.
Well, that something about the toxins allowed their research to progress farther too, because they were trying to save humanity.
Well, yeah. So basically, the crux of their research was that like there's this ancient DNA that we could extract stuff from that could help save humanity. They didn't explain how it could save humanity. They didn't explain what it would do to humanity. Just that they had this magic thing that they could get out of the ice. And then the pollution made it easier for them to do that. It would speed up their research by like generations or some shit. So they worked alongside
pollution propaganda.
Yeah. So basically they worked alongside the mining facility to increase the pollution so that they could in turn drill better. And then they helped the mining company, like they cooked the books for them so that the government and shit didn't really know how much pollution was actually happening. Okay.
Yep.
Well, Annie, she uncovered this because she's a detective or something. And then when she found out about all this, she destroyed years and years of research in a secret cave laboratory beneath the research facility. And the researchers overheard her and began murdering her in a fit of rage when they discovered this.
Yeah.
So that's how she died. In fact, they stabbed her like 30 times with this drill thing, the screwdriver thing. Mm-hmm. And then like her boyfriend guy, Clark, the one that they were looking for the whole series, like he comes in and is like, no, stop. And then, oh, she's dead. Fuck, what'd we do? And then she like wakes up and he's like, oh my God, she's not dead. Let me just suffocate her while I say, shh, it's okay, instead of saving her. So like,
what?
They just murder her in this like ridiculous thing. Which like, okay, whatever. So that's how she died, okay? But then we get the second tier revelation of how the men died. And the women, the local women who were the cleaning ladies who worked for this facility, they were forensic scientists also, and aside from being cleaning ladies, and they actually discovered how Annie died. And because they were all local indigenous women, they banded together to get revenge on the research men, and they stormed the facility one night with guns and cut the power, and they forced them into the back of a truck. They drove them out onto the frozen ocean, stripped them naked, and sent them off into the darkness to freeze to death. And that's the big finale.
Would you have gotten out of the truck, Dan?
No, shoot me. Like,
way.
I'm not going to freeze.
I ain't freezing to death.
What are you insane?
Like, I'm not getting out.
Me.
But also, this was an episode of Monk where cleaning ladies were like the killers, and they got away with it because, as Issa Rae explains in her article here, her interview with the Los Angeles Times.
Not Issa Rae.
Not Issa Rae. I'm sorry, Issa Lopez.
Okay.
She says I knew from the very beginning, being Mexican and having moved to Los Angeles some 10 years ago, it's interesting to see how behind every scene there is someone you would never notice. I'm Mexican, and most people in California are Mexican or Latin American. They're the person that washes the dishes, the person that cleans the office after you leave. They're really invisible. However, they're everywhere. They have access to everything. They know everything. Invisibility is a superpower. It could be terrible, and it could be conducive to horrors like missing and murdered indigenous women. But at the same time, it could be a superpower. Why not flip that coin and use it for power? So this was an episode of Monk. Literally, I guarantee you she saw this episode of Monk and copied this and was like, oh, let's just make them like the good guys.
Just make them Mexican.
Because in Monk, this episode, as you know, Monk Solves Murders, this group of cleaning women were the killer at the end of the episode. They orchestrated the murder of that episode, and they were able to get away with it because of what she just explained. They're invisible. They operate behind the scenes. They have access to everything. So this is the same thing. They just made them like these vigilante heroes getting revenge on a murdered indigenous woman who didn't get justice.
Greedy side.
All the women were extremely smart from what I'm gathering from this, because Annie figured out all of this somehow. Yeah. And then all the helper people also figured out that she was murdered somehow.
Yeah.
But they don't explain any of that.
Right. So they explain it in like a 5-minute montage at the end.
Oh, okay.
A couple clips of like taking pictures of stuff and doing sneaky shit to get to the end.
Again, no, and I just want to be clear. None of that, me criticizing this, what this fell behind in front of your camera?
What the fuck is snowing?
I don't know.
This guy's got fucking ghosts and shit.
Take it back. Everything you just said, take it back right now.
Yeah. The ghost of Annie is here to get me. So, like, my complaints are not about the fact that this shows, like, strong women, like, getting vengeance on the men. Like, that's all fine and cool, but it was not written good. It just wasn't. I'm sorry to tell you this. It wasn't good. None of the characters were really written that well. None of the subplots were written well. And the one central theme of the whole fucking 6 episodes is that Annie's death connected to all this. You're supposed to give a shit that Annie died. And you're supposed to give a shit that she didn't get justice. And you don't, because you don't learn anything about Annie other than 2 facts. 1 is that she was an activist, and 2 is that she was a midwife. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
You don't learn
3. She's awake.
No, that's not who she. That's not the she that they were referring to. They were referring. They were referring to the ancient Native American Eskimo spirit that this fucking, this group of people, like their ancestry. They have whatever. What are they called? Folklore. That's the she that they were referring to. That's why, like, we sent them out into the ocean, and we figured if she wanted them, she'd come for them. That's the she that they awoke.
Mm-hmm.
Do we learn who the she is? No. Do we learn anything about the folklore? No. Do we learn anything about Annie other than those 2 facts? No. Do we learn anything about how fucking what's her name's son dies other than it was like a fucking ambiguous car accident? No. Do we learn anything about anything that the show presented to us? No. We just get this, like, moody, really cool setting in Alaska during its month-long night. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They only go through half of the month. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they time jump, but.
And then here we are, like, from what I can gather on Twitter and Reddit, if you're a white liberal woman, you fucking love this shit. It's like people are saying this is the best season of the show so far. They stuck the landing. The ending was incredible. And if you're a white conservative 4chan dude, you fucking hated it. So once again, something is completely dominated by political, social, and cultural fucking discourse. And the substance of the work is being completely missed. From what I've seen, at least, nobody's praising it or defending it based on the merits. And I don't know, but I'm starting to feel like that's the reason why content is being made these days, is to get conversations like this going. And that's it, because people are arguing about it. So some fucking peon is going to see the and then go watch it. Yeah.
Engagement.
The premise had a lot of potential, and the acting was pretty good, but the story itself, because it was only 6 episodes, it was pretty fucking mid.
Dude, the acting was great. These fucking people were wasted.
Were all the seasons this short, or?
No, True Detective 1 was like 8 episodes. HBO usually does between 8 and 10. This was particularly short. I don't know if it's because production started during COVID and got cut short or whatever. I don't know if they got limited to 8 episodes, like what we said happened with Echo. But this show, it felt very rushed. The plot felt very rushed. And by the 6th episode, again, similar to Echo, you're just like, wait, what? Like, how'd we arrive here?
Right.
And like, what do I learn? What am I supposed to take away from this? And like, it definitely dealt with some things that are interesting topics: mental health, generational trauma, the exploitation of indigenous people and their land, and murdered missing indigenous women.
But that's nothing. Any other shows have done all those things, and like even better in some cases.
Well, it's like we talked about
like Yellowstone.
I was just gonna
exactly.
say, it's like we've talked about with Yellowstone. Yellowstone handles those topics while also being like a fucking right-wing fucking propaganda fucking show. It handles those things well. Taylor Sheridan is good at that. You want to see a movie about fucking indigenous women going missing and the government and law enforcement not taking it seriously even a little bit, or just ignoring it? Killers of the Flower Moon. Fucking Wind River. Like, there are plenty of other things, pieces. Wind River is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And like,
another Taylor Sheridan story.
So it's like, there are things that draw attention to these real issues that are better than this fucking show. The show was just not written well. And again, if that's the message you wanted to convey, if you wanted to really like shine some light on this, like, well, okay, tell us about Anne. Make us care about Annie. Like, we don't know anything about her. She's just a background figure that died some point in time. And like the one detective is like, you know, she's upset that they never solved it or whatever. It's like,
right.
It's such a shallow attempt to make you give a fuck about anything. So by the time the big reveal happens, like, well, I don't care that she died. Therefore, I don't care that there was revenge given to the group of men that killed her. I have no attachment to it whatsoever. So I'm just watching this fucking thing play out that's like, what? It makes no sense.
What happened with the tongue?
No one knows. She actually addresses it. And here's the other reason.
How is it preserved so well?
Well, this is the other funny thing. So this is what she says, this fucking... listen, I don't want to talk shit about her. I'm sure she's a wonderful writer, but this show was not it. But she says here, hang on, let me find it. Here you go. And this is exactly what I said. If you go back to the first episode we talked about this show, and I said this supernatural shit is not supernatural. They're just playing with the audience and we'll never know. Here you go. Mm-hmm. Okay? The question was, I've watched the finale twice now. I'm still trying to figure out how literally I should interpret the final shot. So Marvin, during this last little wrap-up, Danvers, Jodie Foster's being interviewed by some like internal affairs people about what happened. And it turns out Navarro goes missing and she's never to be seen again, apparently. But previously in the episode, there is a conversation between Danvers and Navarro, and Danvers says, hey, if you take off again, like, come back. And it was her way of saying, like, hey, if you kill yourself, come back to me as a ghost, the way that you see ghosts. There was this like overarching like thing that Navarro had about her character where like something's calling to her and she believes in the afterlife and she doesn't quite know what it is, but it called to her sister and made her kill herself. It called to her mom and made her kill herself. It's mental illness, and it calls to her. And by the end, you see her just like walking off into like no man's land as if she's going to kill herself. Okay. So there's this like weird ending thing that like kind of glorifies suicide that like, that felt a little bit weird. I don't know if you felt that way too, Dusty.
Yeah, it was weird.
It felt a little bit like romanticizing suicide. But the last shot is Navarro on the porch with Danvers, and you don't know if it's a ghost or if it's real, whatever. So anyhow, the question is about this. And then the writer says, I think that the entire series has two readings. One of them is that everything is connected to the supernatural. The other one is that there's absolutely nothing supernatural happening. The dark brings its own madness and neuroses to some characters. The men walking onto the ice, you can go with they froze to death in a flash freeze and they had paradoxical undressings and delirium because of hypothermia. Or you can believe they walked onto the ice and faced the thing they woke up by being in the wrong place. It's up to you to decide which of those readings you're going to embrace. No, it's up to you as a writer to fucking pick a lane and fucking flesh out the fucking story.
Right. Yep.
And we've talked, the reason I'm so irritated about this is we've talked about this a lot. It's like ambiguous endings and ambiguous stuff. When done right, it could be a very effective writing tool.
Yeah, don't just gloss over everything and make you wonder whatever the fuck.
Right. This was not done well. This is just like dangling things in front of you just for flashy effect. Matter of fact, I took note. There's one scene at the end. I don't know if you noticed it, Dusty. There are some like really effective shots too. The direction and cinematography in this season was really great. And there was one scene where Navarro is like walking through the laboratory, and the initial shot kind of like it's like you're seeing her walk towards you, walk towards the camera. And it swings up from the floor, and there's no footprints. And then as she gets closer, the camera swings back down to the floor, and you see a trail of wet footprints. And I rewound it to make sure I wasn't fucking up. They were not there the first time, and the camera deliberately shows that they were not there and then there. So as I said in the beginning of the show, they're always playing with these supernatural psychological elements. Okay? So it uses... Visually, there were some effective things there, but it doesn't go anywhere. You have to flesh it out. Like, don't just...
Yeah.
That doesn't, like, the tongue doesn't make any sense. It was in evidence.
I know.
And, like, they take you to it, like, she asked them, she's like, what about the tongue? And the ladies are like, we don't know, because they thought what's-his-name did it, so they tortured him, like, well, you cut her tongue out, and you did this, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then at the end, you see Danvers, she's looking down where the tongue was, and, like, looks like she's about to make a revelation or something. And then she gets called away, and it's like, okay, we don't know who cut her tongue out, who put it there, why it was there.
Right.
Right.
Just weird.
Well, she actually goes on to talk about it. She says, if you're going with the supernatural story in reference to the tongue, Hank is the one that dumps Annie's body and cuts out the tongue. He leaves the tongue there, and the tongue disappears. No one ever finds it until 6 years later. In the moment that scientists face their fate, the tongue reappears because it's the time to tell the story that was silenced before. Was it Annie's ghost? If you're going the rational route, Hank cuts the tongue and leaves it there, and then the body is found. Not by Navarro. Navarro is the first cop on the scene, but by the community. In my mind, the women find Annie and they cannot take her body, but they keep her tongue in a gesture of kindness for their friend. So the women left it there as like a calling card when they killed the scientists, is what she's saying, is like the other version of this. So basically, she's basically saying it's like, it could be anything. I don't fucking know. You decide. Well, I'm not the fucking writer. I didn't write the fucking show. Okay?
Yeah. I get it.
So, there's one last thing I wanted to talk about, too, regarding this, is all the callbacks to season 1, okay? Because they were fucking jammed into your fucking throat in not even the most, like, in not even, like, a slightly, like, sneaky way, okay? And here are all the references. The Tuttle Foundation is the one that was financing the mining facility that was financing the Salal research. The Tuttle Group is the family of fucking politicians and fucking preachers from the Louisiana fucking bayou in season 1 that was behind this weird fucking occult baby raping and killing fucking bullshit since the fucking dawn of man, okay? Why were they here? Who the fuck knows? And she even says that. She says, well, of course. She's like, if we need to have like a secret fucking group financing something, why not the Tuttles? It's a True Detective series. Might as well throw it in. I'll find the quote in a second. Second callback, Rust calls father. In season 1, Rust mentions several times that he grew up in Alaska, moved to Texas because he hated the fucking cold. His dad was a hunter and fisherman in Alaska. He taught Cole how to track and do all his hunting things that you see in the scene where they fucking kill Reggie Ledoux in season 1. Spoilers. And you won't remember. And he mentions his dad being in Alaska. He mentions his dad died of leukemia. And he explains the 8 years that he goes missing, he was back in Alaska. Okay? Well, his dad was the ghost that the fucking pothead lady was seeing on the ice. Right? That helped her discover the bodies. Yeah. Okay, cool little callback. Rust is from Alaska. This takes place in Alaska. Fine, whatever.
Right.
The Spiral? The Spiral were the markings from the fucking first season. It was the calling card of this fucking group of people that worshipped a mysterious place called Carcosa and the Yellow King. That was like their symbology. Why did it end up in this fucking season? Flipped over? Who fucking knows? We don't get an explanation. Why is it there? Just because it happened in the first season. Okay? And then the final callback that was the most egregious was Clark in this episode, this finale, saying, time is a flat circle. Why the fuck did he say that? What did it have to do with that conversation? Other than the fact that it's the most famous line from the first season. Said by Matthew McConaughey.
Well, and the flat circle appears about, 30 times in the 6 episodes we watched. So
time is a flat circle. Spiral. Time, history repeats itself. But like, why? Where did he get that from? He's not part of the fucking thing. Like, time is a flat circle. If you remember, Dusty, I don't know since when the last time you watched it was, but I'm literally watching it as we speak. I'm on the second to last episode. The first time Rust says that, he says, someone once told me time is a flat circle. But he heard it from Reggie. When they go to Reggie's compound, do you remember that?
Yeah.
When they go to Reggie's compound, Reggie's the one handcuffed on his fucking knees saying nonsense. He's like, the stars, the black stars in the sky. Time is a flat circle. The time has come. He says it, and then Rust references it and says, someone once told me time is a flat circle, so we're doomed to repeat this over and over again. Where the fuck did this guy get it from? So she says here's her explanation. Here's the thing. I never set out like, oh, let's put everything we can that references season 1. I believe the idea of letting the story speak to you. I decided that Alaska was a super interesting setting for this series. I rewatched season 1 and I realized Russ Cole's father had lived and died in Alaska. It would have been crazy to never mention it. It's the same universe. There's a corporation that is funding the endeavors of a greedy machine that is lying about pollution. In season 1, there's an evil corporation too. It would be silly to have two different ones, would it?
Would it?
When there's a symbol in my season that signifies the proximity of a different level of reality, the supernatural, and there is a symbol for that in the first season, so why add in a new one? That just makes it not True Detective. Yeah, so let's just arbitrarily throw it in because it existed in a completely... That's why this is a fucking... Oh, man. I was so offended by this last episode because I was enjoying the fucking series up until this point. Yes, it had its issues. It had its weaknesses. I thought the whole shit with the kid and his wife was like dumb fucking like typical cop drama. Like, oh, you're a cop. You're not around a lot. Okay. But I was enjoying it. Like I said, the atmosphere was fucking great. The setting was great. The acting was great. The cast was fucking great. Writing was terrible.
Yep. 4 was a little slow for me. 5 was a good pickup. And then 6 was like, this is how we're going to end it. Okay.
And I guarantee you we're going to get comments on this video about like, I'm a fucking season 1 bro. I'm a season 1 fanboy. I'm sorry to break it to you, but like, as I've said many times, season 1 is one of the best seasons of television ever made.
Right. Not just this show.
Right. Of all shows ever to exist. Right. Okay. And because they decided to slap the title of True Detective on it, which probably isn't her fault, to be fair. I guarantee you that was like an HBO executive decision. Be like, hey, make this True Detective season 4. You're now suffering under the weight of having to compare it to season 1 because it's a True Detective fucking season. So deal with it, man. And also, go back and watch season 1. Michelle Monaghan's character, Maggie, is a fucking strong woman. She's a woman being fucking bullshitted by her fucking husband who fucking divorces him because he's a piece of shit. She has the strength to divorce him and leave a dirtbag and all the toxic men in her life. She doesn't take shit from any fucking man in that season. Okay? So this isn't like about women and I don't like women and I don't like strong women and I need to identify with women. The writing was bad. Plain and simple.
It is what it is.
It just is what it is.
Do you think the show would have been any better if Issa wasn't the writer, director, and showrunner of the show?
Maybe. I don't know anything about her. This is the first I've ever heard of her name. So I can't judge her on anything other than this. I literally have not seen anything. She wrote something called Tigers Are Not Afraid. Never heard of it. It's got a 6.9 on IMDb. I don't know anything about it, so couldn't tell you.
What? One sec.
What's going on over there? You got diffusing a bomb?
I mean, it's pretty clear, Dan. You're just an alt-right cis white male.
Yeah, basically I am. I just hate.
We've discovered the truth.
I hate women. Can't stand them.
I mean, like I said,
I did a lot of ranting.
Had a lot of potential. I feel like her saying like, it's not like I just pulled all this stuff from True Detective just to do it, but I feel like she kind of roped herself into like doing that because the story had potential, but it felt like it got pulled down by trying to do all that shit. Mm-hmm. That was unnecessary. Let it stand on its own. Tell your own fucking story.
I do believe, honestly, I mean, I don't think we'll ever know for sure, but the fact that this is a True Detective season does scream like executive interference, right? Like HBO is like, oh, you have a detective drama? Hey, we have a detective drama. Just call it True Detective Night Country. Okay, cool. Oh, you throw in some little connections to the first season. Just whatever. And like, I don't mind connecting it. Season 3 connected it slightly to the first one, but like very little, just to give you a little bit of like, that's interesting. And it was great.
It's subtle.
It was subtle and great, and it didn't overwhelm the season. These callbacks did because they didn't go anywhere.
Right.
And I think the most egregious of the callbacks is the spiral. Because it's symbology. It like doesn't make any sense to even be here.
Did they show that in like the very first episode?
I think so. Yeah, it was on all. It was on the forehead.
Yeah, it was on the head, and then they found the stone,
and the women left.
There was the orange peel, and then there was was that like a whale scale in the ice.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was like a whale's bones in the fucking ice in the shape of a spiral.
Like, there were so many swirl references, Marvin. It's insane.
That's definitely bait. Then they just
the women put it on the foreheads of the men, the Native American. I don't know if they're what do you even call them? I don't want to mislabel them.
I don't know.
Okay, so the indigenous
exactly,
women, you get the sense that it's
Inuits?
Is it? I don't know exactly what the tribe
might
was.
Be tribal specific. I don't know. About
Anyhow, you get the sense that it's like a fucking symbol of their culture that goes back, right?
Right.
And that's like the one loose connection to the symbol in the first season, which is that like in the first season, everything is perpetuated by this group of like fucking hillbilly, fucking Louisiana, fucking swamp people that go back generations and they make fucking stick fucking things and like they're into the occult. So that's like the only slight connection. It's just ancient symbology. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Very. You got baited.
It is what it is.
I was very disappointed.
Egregious bait, but yeah.
I'm very disappointed in the season because I had high hopes for it. I think most of it was good. I just needed a little bit of work. Like even like that's what I said. The characters just needed to be fleshed out better. I think they were trying to do a little bit too much. Pick a fucking pick a central story element and then flesh that out. They didn't do any of those, things. And so anyhow, final analysis. Representation does not automatically make a project great. The story trumps all.
Obviously.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's that. Okay? Don't fucking devalue people's opinions because they have some like legitimate criticisms of this. That's all.
Yep.
And if you don't like this because it represents strong female characters, you're a fucking moron. Okay, so there's that too. But the acting, A+. I think the directing was a fucking A+. Writing was a D for me. Lazy as fuck. Sorry.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on True Detective, Dusty?
No, like I said, it was had a lot of potential. Pretty mid.
Yeah. No desire to watch it now. Thanks, Dan.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Watch season 1, Marvin. It's about fucking time.
Actually,
and it's a quick watch. I literally binge watched it, most of it last night. I have 1.5 episodes left that I'm going to finish tonight after we record. I think I'm going to rewatch season 2 because season 2 left a bad taste in everybody's mouths when it first aired because it was not good in comparison to season 1. I would like to revisit it to see how it holds up. And then I'll probably watch season 3 because I actually did enjoy season 3 and I'd like to revisit it. So I'm going to go on a True Detective journey the next couple of days. Nice. But yeah, Marvin, you should watch season 1. Matter of fact, you should watch season 1 before next week's episode. So that way you could report in on what you thought.
All right.
Anything to add to it, Dusty? And to what I just said? Sorry for the rant, but
Nope. That's pretty good.
So you didn't like it either. You were upset and disappointed.
Yeah. I was disappointed. Like I said, the first 3 episodes were pretty good. It kind of draws you into this, like, what the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, it just kind of went like, maybe, maybe. Nope. It just, got let down.
What a waste.
And the suicide thing was weird as fuck, too, by the way. And nobody's talking about that. Because, and Issa Lopez in that interview, she says something along the lines of like, "Oh, Navarro's at peace now," and it's like,
just like the whole scene where like they're both gonna walk out to hear the voices because of Holden, and did she jump in the ice or did she get saved? Were they just on the ice? What was I fucking watching?
Yeah,
I was so confused by it that I was like, I don't know.
I will say the acting was mostly good, but that scene where Jodie Foster was like on the brink of death from freezing was pretty bad. The delivery and the writing was pretty bad.
Cringe.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh, dude." I was like, "What did he
say?"
Yeah, I was like, "What is going on here?" It reminded me of like the Martha scene from fucking Batman v Superman. Must save Martha. Why did you say that name? Anyhow. I don't know. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of True Detective. But be cool about it. Don't just say I'm like I didn't get it. That's fucking dumb. Save that for Twitter. I'm not interested in that bullshit. I got it. It's not that deep, okay? But anyhow, that's the only thing I've watched other than season 1 now. And just to reiterate, season 1 is so fucking good, okay? I'm not comparing it I'm just simply saying, I'm stating an opinion. Season 1 is unbelievable. The chemistry between Matthew McConaughey and fucking what's his name, unbelievable. The writing, unbelievable. The directing, unbelievable. The cinematography, unbelievable. There's a oneer, Marvin. We've talked about the famous oneer, the one shot, the tracking shot that doesn't cut in one of the episodes that is like very famous now, and it is unbelievably executed. Oh God, what a great season of television. Anyhow, what's up in the news this week, Dusty? Dusty, everybody, was a former newsman. He worked in video game journalism, and now he delivers the news for us each week. What you got for us?
Is it my turn to pick Make Marvin Watch this month?
Yeah, sure is.
Okay, so speaking of oneers,
last month was Fargo. You weren't here.
Yeah. Speaking of oneers, we're gonna go with a good one because Marvin said horror wins. So
yes, sir.
Are we announcing the Make Marvin Watch?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay.
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. Have you never seen Shaun of the Dead, Marvin?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I thought you did see that.
I don't think he has.
It's blurry. It's real blurry.
If not, it's Army of Darkness. It's going to be
I've seen Army of Darkness.
Okay, so yeah, Shaun of the Dead. There it is.
Shaun of the Dead. I couldn't tell you anything about that.
Yeah, I don't think he's seen it. I think we talked about it before, and he said he hadn't seen it because I added it to the list. But anywho, let's get to the news. We're going to go through a couple of WB news pieces here real quick before we get to the big Disney news.
Big Disney.
Because there's never much WB news lately because not much is happening.
I got some WB news, but you go on. Brad Swartz of CW has come out and basically said that Superman and Lois, this is the last season. Yeah.
And the reason that it's last season is James Gunn, because they don't want too much overlap with Superman Legacy coming out. So they're happy to finish it here. But he also said that it's amazing and the first episode will make you cry. He's already seen it and it's sad. So I don't know how they're going to go
Superman,
out.
Baby.
I don't know how we're going to go out, but I need to catch up because
who said that?
Brad Swartz, the CEO of CW.
Okay.
Or whatever entertainment company it is that's running. Yeah, it's CW, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he said he's seen the first episode and he said he cried. It'll make you cry. But he also said that it's James Gunn's fault that it's not getting renewed and it will be the last season. So of all the rumors we've talked about it being extended, it is not going to be, because they're happy to just keep Superman outside of the Elseworlds and in the main canon. Well, and then the other piece of WB information I have is James Gunn actually went on to social media and asked fans who Dave Bautista should play in the new DCU. The top 3, I guess, responses were Hugo Strange, who is a Batman villain, or if you want to go more intergalactic, Mongol was one, and then Darkseid, which I think Darkseid would be a pretty good pick, but who knows? He likes to hire his favorites. And so he thought he'd ask the crowds. I don't know if he'll stick with those or go with another random one, but it was interesting that he asked.
Could we just talk about the fact? Sorry, go ahead, Marvin.
If James Gunn is making decisions to cancel Superman and Lois, that puts much more pressure on him to deliver a great Superman, I think.
Well, WB
it absolutely does. I agree.
No, I know they own it. I'm just saying.
Well,
he has a lot of influence there, obviously. So if he's making this decision, he's really got to come with a fantastic Superman, because people love.
This is
Superman
what the Marvel did with all the popular Netflix shows that they had. Like they started canceling those shows.
That's right.
Because they wanted to make their canon shows and stop all that. So it's just kind of following that same trademark. But you're absolutely right. He better fucking deliver.
I mean, listen,
because if he doesn't, right?
The Elseworlds thing is stupid. From a creative standpoint, you don't want to do that. You don't want to have
Constantine 2 is going to be an Elseworlds movie, because
I understand
they're probably going to pick somebody else to be Constantine, but they still want to make the Keanu movie because he wants to make it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So it's like the overlap from a creative standpoint is totally understandable. You're putting out Superman Legacy, which, let's face it, will be the first legitimate Superman movie in fucking 40 years.
Yeah.
You don't want there's been too much confusion already from general audiences. They need to streamline it. I'm just disappointed they aren't going to take... Superman and Lois is an unbelievable show. It's fucking great. As I've said, it's the best on-screen Superman we've gotten since Christopher Reeve. And possibly better than Christopher Reeve, honestly. The show is fucking great. It's a love letter to Superman. The character, it's a love letter to other characters in Superman comics. It's fucking amazing. I can't believe we're about to get the death of Superman in a season. It's going to be amazing. And if
in the first episode of the season.
Well, it's yeah. I personally, if I were James Gunn, I would have just been like, yo, Tyler, you want to be Superman in the movies too? Because he's a fucking good Superman. He's a good Clark. He's a good Superman. And I would have just...
He's not that old, right?
I don't think so. But I would have just branched off of the show, what the show already established. It has established a very good Superman. And I'd imagine...
36.
Yeah. So I would have done that. Totally understand why they didn't do it. I totally understand why they're ending the show. But the show's great.
No, I do too. I'm just saying it does put pressure on him.
This does not bode well, though, for Matt Reeves' Batman 2, because... if you're not going to have an Elseworlds Superman, you're certainly not going to have an Elseworlds Batman. And we know Andy Muschietti is already posting set photos from Brave and the Bold. Not set photos. He posted a picture of his director's chair.
Penguin's coming out. They're gonna let a Batman alternate universe go, because I think you can do more with Batman than you could do more Elseworld Batmans than Supermans, because
maybe.
I mean, unless you're doing like Bizarro Superman TV show or something. Really doesn't make sense to have the Elseworld Superman, because unless you're gonna drastically go away from what Superman is, there's no need for a Superman Elseworld, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Which, I mean, Batman can get away with it a little bit, I think. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. Maybe if they focus on, I mean, they're doing the Penguin show, but they are doing Batman too, also. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, maybe if they focus on some more of that side stuff instead of Batman, they'll be allowed to exist.
Spinoffs.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's tough.
Just give me a good Superman movie. That's all I want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all WB I got. On to Disney. Thunderbolts getting a 2-month pump.
Oh, I saw this.
They're actually flipping dates, though, with the Fantastic Four, which has been announced. So Thunderbolts will come out on May 2nd, 2025. It was scheduled to come out in late June. The Fantastic Four is scheduled to come out in late June, I think June 25th, 2025. And they announced the cast, which it's been leaked by a few people, but Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby is Susan Storm, Eben Moss Bachrach is Ben Grimm, and then Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm. So
which
takes
is
place in
interesting.
1963's. Confirmed, basically. This is around President LBJ's time. Doctor Strange actually said something about this in one of the movies. He said, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s during the whole?"
But that's an Easter egg to the fact that they were made in the 60s in real life.
Yes, but they're also making the movie set.
No, I understand, but it is confirmed because in that little piece of artwork,
LBJ,
that's the cover of Time magazine from that year.
Time magazine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be like
December.
A family out of time, I would imagine. I think that was always everybody's like assumption, is that they were going to bring them back from another time or another dimension, another universe rather, to the MCU. But it is a little bit strange that we'll see how it happens. I don't know. We'll
are they going to pick younger characters to play them in the current age? Or
how are they going to explain the fact that this family of super people existed in the 60s, but nobody ever mentioned it in the present day MCU?
We already kind of know that with the Deadpool trailer. It feels like Deadpool, he's going into the TVA and he's going to erase all the timelines and fix all the timelines and merge all the timelines or somehow to reset the timeline. And so it's not going to be an issue anymore. Mutants will have always existed.
No.
Is the Fantastic Four.
I don't think they're going to do that until Secret Wars, because that's how Secret Wars happens in the comic books. Secret Wars reboots.
I think
Marvel
or Deadpool is the start of that.
No, it totally is. Yeah, for sure. But interesting to note, the Bachrach guy, whatever his name is, who's playing Ben Grimm, he played Micro in The Punisher season 1 on Netflix.
Yes,
and it's interesting that we're getting a crossover acting gig because Marvel has also confirmed that those Netflix shows are canon. So Micro, played by him, is canon in the MCU. Right. But now he's playing Ben Grimm. just a little interesting thing. I think this might be the first time we've seen like a crossover, like an actor playing two roles in the same thing. Is there any other that I could think?
No, we've seen it a couple times. I can't think of
in
them
the
off
MCU
the top of my
already.
head.
I don't think there has.
Maybe
been.
not in. I don't know. I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure it's happened, but I don't know specifically in the MCU because they recanonized some of that stuff. So
did you see? What's
speaking of? Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn did a GQ interview.
I saw that, yeah.
And they asked him, you've done Star Wars, Batman, and Marvel. Any of those properties you want to return to? And he said, I would give my eyes and teeth to play Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom is a great unread Marvel character that could and should be done, but it is what it is because he was obviously Talos. And so there's no way that they're going to let
love him.
He's great. He's a great actor.
He was also good in The Outsider, which I tweeted about, but yeah.
Did you see The Outsider? When did you tweet about that?
When that same news dropped, I just said.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. Yeah, no, The Outsider was amazing. That's Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
My shit.
Well, are we excited for Thunderbolts? I don't know much about
no, not really.
them.
Don't care. I'll reserve.
Is it like
watch
is it like Teen Titans or something? Like what is it? What is it like?
No, it's like Suicide Squad.
Oh, it's like Suicide Squad.
It's like
It's like a bad version of the Avengers, essentially.
Correct. A bad version of the Young Avengers, kind of.
Yeah,
I just don't know any of them. I don't think.
We'll see what happens with that.
The Thunderbolts and the Young Avengers would have felt like they were pushing towards, but.
Did you see that? What's his name? Paul Bettany did confirm the return of Vision at some point. He said he will be making a comeback as Vision.
I didn't see that, but
yeah.
I mean, that could be like he could be in Deadpool for.
Yeah, right. It could be anything, so. but we do have the mystery of White Vision who just disappeared at the end of.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Wikipedia says Hawkeye was a Thunderbolt at some point.
Yeah, there were plenty. I mean, it's the same thing as Avengers. Like fucking Wolverine was Avengers. Like they.
They're ran by the government instead of like they're self-ran like the Justice League or the Avengers or anything like that. The government runs them.
Okay.
Marvel fed us fucking good this week. Fucking first we got the fucking Deadpool Wolverine trailer, then we got the fucking Fantastic Four casting announcement, and then we got the greatest thing I've ever watched with my fucking human eyes is the trailer for X-Men 97. Did you guys watch that 300 times in a row or just me?
Nah, just
I watched
once.
that one clip 300 times in a row, but I hadn't watched the whole trailer.
Which clip?
Times. Where fucking Gambit gets on top of fucking Logan
and fucking lights up
charges
his blades?
Goddamn adamantium. Like, did that just charge his blades? Because adamantium through his whole fucking body, dude. Right. Like, holy shit.
Bro, let me tell you something about Saturday morning cartoons, Marvin. Let me take you back to a time when life was simple and good, and you wake up on Saturday morning, and you're watching fucking X-Men, you're watching fucking Spider-Man, you're watching the greatest cartoons to ever exist. Okay? This is like, I don't know if this is nostalgia bait. I mean, I'm sure it is nostalgia bait, or a way of like introducing the X-Men back into the cultural zeitgeist before their films start to come out. But man, I am so fucking hyped for this. It looks so good. The way they opened that trailer with like the fucking tune in next week for the finale of X-Men. And it's like, it just transported me back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Well, you think they're going to open it with previously on X-Men?
They better.
Do you think
they better.
On the first episode?
They
that
better.
Would be great.
Because that was the shit previously on X-Men. Oh my God. It looks so fucking good. And then fucking, oh man, that scene of fucking, Cyclops being like, to me, my X-Men. Oh my God. I'm so fucking hyped for it. It's going to be so good. Please don't be bad. If this is bad, I'm going to fucking walk out into the desert the way Navarro did in True Detective. I'm just going to walk and never come back.
Yeah. Animation has changed a lot. If you look at like some of the old
it looks very similar though.
It's similar, but it is also a little bit different.
Of course it's different. We're fucking 20 years removed from it, but they're keeping longer than that, actually. I mean, but they're keeping.
I saw two comparisons of, I think it was Rogue, and the older version looks way better.
They're gonna. I think they did a good job, from what I could see in the trailer, to like keep it looking pretty similar. Do you think Rogue is gonna have the fatty that she had in the 90s one?
I think I've already seen pictures that she doesn't.
Oh, because she had a fat ass in that cartoon. Okay. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like people were disappointed because they were like Rogue is not near as hot as she was.
I mean, it's a fucking cartoon.
It's been all over. Yeah, it's been all over social media. There's a post here: X-Men '97 and the downgrade of Rogue's assets.
No, you're making comic book nerds mad with this shit.
Yeah, but that shit's weird because that stems from like a time when women were drawn like gratuitously back then.
Yeah, I told you, fucking
nothing wrong with drawing beautiful women.
No, but it's weird when it's like you could see the outline of their fucking asshole through the fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean,
no, that shit was crazy.
Shout out to Jason Scott Campbell.
And you know what? I hope this show shines a light on fucking Scott, because my boy Scott, okay, they did him dirty in those X-Men movies. The ones that came out. He was just not a good character in those movies.
That's true. He was lame.
He was whack. He was like a cuck.
He really was.
Like
he was a badass in the comics.
Yeah, well, Scott Summers.
I believe that.
And I'm quoting Ed. Shout out to Ed.
Shout out.
Scott is objectively the best leader in all of comics next to Cap. So
damn.
Yeah. I hope they do him justice.
Yeah, he was definitely a cuck. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
And they even gave us like a little bit. Obviously, the plot of this season is going to be something like so. Xavier has died, carried over from the original series, and apparently he left all his fucking assets. Left all his assets to fucking Magneto. That shit's crazy. Is Magneto going to be fucking running the X-Men in this shit? Oh my god, I can't wait for this. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
That's different.
Oh yeah.
He's evil. I mean, he's not evil.
He's not evil. That's the thing about Magneto.
Well,
Marvin talking like a man who's never read or watched X-Men.
No,
I watched
was evil
some of the movies
originally.
His
character changed a little bit over time, but
okay.
He's one of the best villains in all of comics because of the fact that he has a moral ambiguity to him.
He does now. He didn't always.
Yeah, I know, but this is who he is now. We're not getting fucking Magneto from the fucking 30s or whatever the fuck. Like
the 60s.
When it was just, I know I'm fucking being sarcastic. When it was just like bad good. Like,
yeah, no. In the beginning, it was just Magneto was a fucking straight up simple evil villain who thought mutants were superior, and he wanted to fucking rule the world. And Professor X was the opposite side of that, but people were still afraid of these guys because they were different and.
Yeah, but he
merged into
who he is now is a better character.
Yeah, the Chris Claremont version of Magneto.
Magneto and Charles are two sides of the same coin. They both want the same thing. They want X-Men. I cannot wait. Oh my god, I can't wait until we're getting the culture war over the X-Men being woke. Fucking Marvel's woke again with the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yo, X-Men is the wokest shit ever, and it always was and always has been. It's about fucking...
That hasn't always. That is incorrect. Chris Claremont...
Bro, we're not talking about the 60s.
I'm talking about the 80s.
Yes.
When Chris Claremont took over the X-Men, he did the Phoenix Saga, and he started doing... That's when the Magneto was in the Holocaust and stuff. That stuff was retconned into Magneto. That was not in the 60s and the 70s. But like all that stuff came later. They were not woke from the beginning. So to say that they were always woke is factually incorrect.
It's not because true. When Stan Lee created the X-Men, it was always about mutants assimilating into humanity and how they were treated like fucking lesser. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Magneto. I'm talking about the X-Men.
Well, his idea was, I want to create a group of people who the people don't like.
Yes, he wanted
to. These are people with abilities, and I want to be lazy. I don't want to have to explain all their fucking origins. So, bam, they're mutants. And everything that came after that, all the cultural stuff, like some of those metaphors just fell in his lap, and he's like, yeah, that's great, and we can lean on some of that now. But there was never the intention of these are the wokest from the beginning. Like it was just like, I want to create these characters. No, it wasn't.
The X-Men was created by Stan Lee to be a comic book narrative about the social, the civil rights movement. in the 60s?
No.
Yes.
No.
He says it out of his own mouth. What are you saying?
No, he does not. He says it from his own mouth. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He says it from his own mouth that people talk to me about how this was for that and that was for that. And no, that was the furthest thing from my mind. I think his literal quote is that was the furthest thing from my mind. I just wanted to create some characters.
I think you're wrong, but we'll agree to disagree. I'll find it. Don't worry.
Okay.
But
furthest thing from my mind is crazy, by the way.
Either way, yeah, that is crazy. Either way,
I'm not saying they didn't evolve into that from how they were written, and those stories happened and made them great, but to say that that's how they were designed from the beginning is incorrect.
But that's what he has said. Like, it was clearly a narrative about the civil rights movement. But anyhow, doesn't matter because the Chris Claremont era of X-Men is the X-Men that everybody knows and loves. That is the most famous and popular version of the X-Men. Will always be, regardless of what you're arguing with me about. Therefore, the X-Men has been woke since the 80s. And I'm going to laugh my balls off when people are now acting like the X-Men is woke now and it's new and it's Disney go woke, go broke bullshit. Because as I said originally,
it was more of the Jewish dichotomy than of the civil rights dichotomy. Like it wasn't until like mid into his writing that they really started leaning into the other civil rights stuff.
But yeah, Magneto and Charles, they are two sides of the same coin. They both want the same thing. They just have different ways of going about it. Charles thinks that
it's like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. It's the same shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess
that's the correlation that people try and make.
That's what people,
But Magneto in the beginning was a supremacist who thought that he should rule over everybody, and Malcolm X never fucking thought that. So it's a weird, to try and draw that comparison.
Yeah, but anyhow, it's going to be interesting in this cartoon to see.
I think it's the militant versus peaceful.
Well, yeah, approach. Magneto's the guy who has. Magneto's the guy who has been burnt so many times that he's like, nah, fuck that. This is what we have to do to get our rights. And Charles is like, no, we could like coexist and live together. But the X-Men is so fucking good is because it's always playing the two sides of that, you know?
It's amazing. I love X-Men.
And unfortunately, none of those movies ever really captured that. Maybe like First Class and Days of Future Past like did a little bit. You get to see like some cool stuff, but the original three were like absolute dog shit movies.
That was just cheese 2000 action summer movies.
I loved it. Oh man, it was good.
But anyhow.
X-Men. So excited for that shit. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So from some leaks back into other news, My Time to Shine Hello has said that a Midnight Suns movie is happening.
Yeah, I saw that.
And also there were rumors that Henry Cavill should play Dr. Doom. And My Time to Shine Hello referenced that has already been cast as another major role, and it is not Dr. Doom, and that people in the comments have guessed it, so people are going crazy on that. Some people are thinking it could be Captain Britain.
Yeah, I think that was been the rumor for a long time. It would make no sense for him to be Dr. Doom because Dr. Doom was best friends with Reed Richards in school. They're the same age, like they're peers.
Right.
And fucking Pedro Pascal. I mean, I guess they're the same age, but Henry Cavill looks like he's fucking 25. Pedro looks like he's in his fucking 50s. So I mean, I guess
they can fix that.
I guess that's what makeup is for. But
yeah.
And then the last bit of Disney news is not necessarily Disney news, but it is. We're going to talk about Spider-Man because of Madam Web and also for other reasons. The writer's room for Silk series has been scrapped entirely, except for the showrunner, Angela Kang. They're doing a creative overhaul. They're going to try do more male-centric, I guess, as far as their audience base is concerned, because it seemed like the whole women universe of Spidey girls didn't fare as well as they thought. But there's also some interesting fighting going on, according to another leaker. I think Daniel RPK, he predicted the Fantastic Forecast. He also, I believe, leaked the Wakanda plotline before it was out, and he also got some stuff about Quantumania right. So he's got a good track record, but not always. He's gotten some stuff wrong too, but this is from him. He says, I can also confirm that Sony wants to rush Spider-Man 4 no matter what. Sony Animation is developing other Spider-Man animated movies, at least 2 more, but Amy Pascal wants Kevin Feige involved with a future Miles Morales movie. And Tom Rothman is the one who is fighting Feige on what to do with Spider-Man 4. And he's the one who's trying to rush it. He also wants Watts back to direct, while Feige wants Watts on other projects, and he wants to bring in somebody new. So the Spider-Man stuff is just falling apart on us right now because of the backlash from Madam Web. So they want to rush a Spider-Man 4 so they can bounce back and cash in on it again. But we'll see.
Can Sony just stop? Like they're holding.
We still got Craven.
But like, I don't understand.
Oh shit.
What was the budget for Madam Web? Like they have to be losing money at this point. Like producing all these like Spider-Verse movies or whatever the fuck they're calling them.
80 million budget.
Yeah. Like
I can guarantee you that Sony's made more money off Spider-Man than anything else that they own.
Oh, of course, but like I'm
Billions.
just saying, like
Billions.
why are they just leave it to Marvel? You got like the greatest deal on earth. If I could make money by doing nothing, I would do that. Why are you producing your own movies? Just let Marvel do everything they want to do with the Spider-Man characters that you own and just rake in the fucking money.
Well, they probably have something in the contract that stipulates they have to make a movie within so many years or they lose the license. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. So they're going to continue to fight on that to hold.
So we get Venom and Venom 2 and Madam Web and fucking Craven.
Morbius.
Craven who's not Craven. Craven the fucking not hunter. Craven the conservationist. Like, fuck off, man.
Anywho, on to everything else news. We got a few things. Actually, more than I thought. We'll rush through it real quick, though.
Speed it up.
Go ahead.
Travis Knight is in final negotiations to direct the new Masters of the Universe live action movie. However, sources say the deal is not final and certain elements are still coming together. Nevertheless, Knight is reportedly in as the top choice.
Yo, bring Dolph back, baby.
That would be pretty cool. So it looks like they're still moving forward with that, and they like Travis Knight to direct. Rennie Harlan, director of Deep Blue Sea, is heading back to the ocean, this time on a plane.
Oh, shit.
A flight from LA to Shanghai crashes over shark-infested waters. It's called Deep Water. It's going to star Aaron Eckhart and Ben Kingsley. This is from Gene Simmons' new production company, apparently. So Rennie Harlan's done a couple pretty good movies in his day. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, interesting. And then on to some alien news. I think we talked about this a little bit, but Noah Hawley recently was talking about his FX series. He really leaned on Ridley for the upcoming show. And he talked to him a lot, bouncing ideas and back and forth. And that might make you worry because while Ridley did create the original Alien, he also gave us Prometheus and what was the other one?
Alien Covenant.
Covenant, yeah. But I guess he said they had a conversation about the origin of the alien. This is what he had to say. He said, Ridley and I have talked about this and many, many elements of the show. For me and for a lot of people, the perfect life form, as it was described in the first film, is the product of millions of years of evolution that created this creature that may have existed for 1 million years out there in space. The idea, on some level, it was a bioweapon created half an hour ago that just inherently less useful to me. So it seems like he's like, look, Ridley, he did some cool stuff, but thinking that an alien is a bioweapon of a human from a fucking machine, from an android.
That was the Covenant thing. That's what they explained in Covenant.
Is just wild. So I'm not really I'm gonna lean on you for some ideas from the original stuff, but I'm not really going there. So filming for that should wrap up in July. I think it's going to release in the first half of 2025.
Cool.
And then the movie Alien Romulus, we do have a synopsis: a group of young people on a distant world who find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. And it's labeled as, for the first time in decades, fan will be able to simply enjoy an alien story on its own merits without worrying about how it ties to the wider saga.
That's what I was just going to say.
This one has a release date, August 16th, 2024. It's coming out soon. This is just basically a fan letter for Alien fans, because we haven't got a good Alien movie in how long?
Well, good, because when you universe shit, you fuck it up. The magic of Alien and Aliens is that like there is no fucking deeper explanation. It's like there's a fucking alien. That's all it is. Man versus beast. That's it.
Right.
Primal.
So, yeah, I don't know which one I'm looking forward to more, because I think Noah Hawley, leaning on Ridley Scott, can develop some storylines in his TV series that kind of add to the lore of Alien. But I'm also super excited about an Alien standalone movie that has nothing to do with it. Supposedly takes place between Alien and Aliens on some other planet.
Yeah, I don't think I give a shit.
It's just a standalone film, so it's going to be like Prey. The movie is going to. It's just
that's great.
So.
I don't care about lore. I don't care about the company. I don't care about any of that shit. Like I just don't.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, sounds good to me. I'm glad that that's the approach they're taking, because Prey was great, and Prey was great because it had no ties to the other shit. It was just like, here's another fucking Predator guy.
Standalone Prey,
yeah. Here's another Predator in a different time period. Fuck off and watch it.
I like that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's kind of like an anthology.
Cillian Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy was asked if he's going to show up on 28 Years Later. I can't give much more at this time or at this point, is what he said, but I've always said I would love to be involved because that movie changed everything for me. He also said this is the only movie that he actually watches that he's in. He says it usually comes on around Halloween, and he'll just watch it, but it's the only movie of his that he will watch.
Not to criticize your choice, but how is that not the zombie horror movie that we're making Marvin watch? Have you seen 28 Days Later?
No, I've seen the other one.
28 weeks later?
No. The other 30 Days of Night or whatever.
Oh, that's a graphic novel.
30 Days of Night is a vampire.
Yeah.
Movie with
28 Days Later is like
Ethan.
Arguably one of the best
Josh
zombie
Hartnett.
movies ever.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I haven't seen it.
But I wanted a little comedy, so
it's fair.
We're doing Shaun of the Dead.
I think
it's one of the best oneers.
I think Shaun of the Dead is also one of the best zombie movies ever made.
Okay. And then we had some news that Doug Liman was opposing his own movie because Amazon wouldn't take it to film.
Yep.
Apparently, there's some new reports coming out. Amazon reportedly offered Doug Liman and Jake Gyllenhaal the option to make Roadhouse for $60 million and get a theatrical release, or take $85 million and go streaming only. Apparently, they took the $85 million and they're not happy about it because they think it should be theatrical. But who knows? That's just a report. Could be true. Could be false. We'll see.
Okay.
And then a little bit of... Well, no, that doesn't matter. That's gaming news. Doesn't relate to film. Phil Spencer's talking about Xbox exclusives and PC exclusives. We're still going to play Indiana Jones, and this is a great circle on PC and Xbox. PlayStation fans can get fucked.
That is big news, though.
That is,
I know it's gaming, but it's big news that they have announced that like there will be no more consoles. They are just third party.
That's crazy. No, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the last piece of news I have. Anyone But You.
Oh fuck! My
sets
whole desk
record.
just fucking like fell over almost.
Anyone But You sets the record for the highest grossing live action Shakespeare adaptation.
It's an adaptation.
Yeah, this is This is basically a Much Ado About Nothing adaptation. It made 189 million domestic. Excuse me. The next biggest movie was DiCaprio and Claire Danes' Romeo plus Juliet, which I think was 147 million. Those are the only two to ever break 100 million. We've had plenty of Romeo and Juliet live action adaptions. I think we've had.
It says loosely based on. Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But it is the highest grossing based on a Shakespeare adaptation, and it is an adaptation. But they also have a couple. Taming of the Shrews. One of my favorites, McClintock. That's John Wayne. But that one only made like $14 million, a $2 million budget back in the day. But anywho, that's the last bit of news that I have for you guys.
All right. Thank you once again for the news, Dusty. Appreciate that. And let's get into this week's movie. That is Anyone But You, starring Glen Powell and Sydney Sweeney's breasts. Directed by Will Gluck. I actually have, there's two movies that Will Gluck has directed in the past that I actually like. Easy A with Emma Stone, and then Friends with Benefits, which is with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. I think those are two like pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty good movies. But yeah, this one is Anyone But You, apparently loosely based on Much Ado About Nothing.
Much Ado About Nothing. Yeah.
Literally pointless fucking who cares? Like it's so fucking stupid. I hate when things are like this. Like, yeah, we like definitely adapted that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder how. I'm a huge rom-com. I'm a rom-com junkie. You guys know that. I love fucking rom-coms, and the genre's been a little rough. These days.
A little lackluster lately.
Yeah, I don't think this movie did anything to help that, unfortunately. But I wonder how rom-coms became a cliche. Like, I know like the first official like rom-coms were like in the 1930s, 2 of which were silent films, I think. But they were like slapstick comedies. But I think like I'm pretty sure one of my favorite movies of all time, When Harry Met Sally. I think it's like probably one of the first times, I think it's regarded as such, as like one of the first like official like rom-coms that set the modern tempo for what a rom-com is. But there are a few things that are like the blueprint for the rom-com, and I think that movie like actually established those things, and that they're like in literally every rom-com that has followed suit since. And that's part of the fun of watching a rom-com, just like it's part of the fun of watching a horror movie, like, waiting for the jump scares and trying to like point them out. But, all the cliches in rom-coms, it's part of the fun. But it could also be a weakness. And I think the best rom-coms are the ones that take those cliches and sort of reinvent them, even if it's just a little bit. And this movie did not do that, unfortunately. In fact, there were a lot of times where this movie felt like a fucking parody to me. Of a rom-com. Like, some of the dialogue in this was like, I was like stunned, like jaw on the floor, like I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
The dialogue was bad, especially like the opening scene.
Well, that's what I was getting at. So the opening of this movie, I won't even call it a cold open, but it's like the stuff that happens before the title screen, the splash screen, and it's like it introduced all the cliches. You got you got the meet cute right in the beginning, right? She's online trying to use the bathroom, and he's like, "Hello, honey, like I'm in line. Go fucking use the bathroom." So you got the meet cute, how they meet. You got the unaffordable, like in real life apartments, like the outlandishly unaffordable living spaces that these people live in. You got the token black friend, unfortunately, throughout the whole movie, who was so painfully unfunny. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, he wasn't that funny.
No, not even a little bit. You got the secretly walking in on a conversation you aren't supposed to hear, which, by the way,
wide open in the middle of the city.
Yeah, which, by the way, in this movie was like the dumbest shit possible.
Dan? Manhattan?
I don't know. No, I have no idea. No idea. But it doesn't even matter. So, like, she walks in on this conversation where he's just like, "Oh, yeah, fuck that bitch. She was terrible," like for no reason whatsoever. Like, no human being really talks like that about another person. But
I mean, I kind of get the guys will sometimes downplay, like if some dude you like that girl, they'll she's all right,
Well, she walked on.
Like guys will do that sometimes when they're talking to each other because they don't want them to be real about their feelings. But to denigrate somebody to that bad, like hell no, not that bitch. That's the worst thing ever. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
It
was extremely forced just for the sake of moving to that next piece, which is they hate each other.
One of my friends was like, "Oh man, this is the best rom-com to come out in years," and he historically likes really bad shit, and it's something I give him shit for all the time. So I had a feeling this was going to be bad, but I did give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit. But I messaged him earlier. I was like, "Dude, like, what the fuck did you watch that I didn't?" Because there's honestly,
so you thought it was bad?
Oh, I thought it was fucking terrible. It was actually unbearable.
I didn't think it was terrible, bad. No. I didn't think it was spectacular, but
Marvin, respectfully, you have not watched enough movies to judge a good rom-com.
I don't know.
But
no, I'm just joking.
You're judging it as a rom-com.
I'm judging it as a movie
judging it as a film he's seen.
No, I am too. It's a bad movie. It's
because
bad.
I agree with you in that I don't know that this is necessarily a rom. It feels. I mean, it feels more like a comedy with a hint of romance, trying to weave
just
into
like
it.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall or fucking.
How dare you
compare
that to Forgetting Sarah
But I'm
Marshall?
saying it's the same as how he just described it as how Forgetting Sarah Marshall is. It's not like a straight up rom-com from the definition that I know of it.
What do you consider a straight up rom-com?
Like, I guess. What was
just like an example of a movie, out of curiosity.
I could start naming some off, but he's probably never seen it. Like, you got mail when Harry met Sally.
Haven't seen that one. What did we watch? The City of D. That was a rom-com. We watched
The Lost City with what's her name, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah,
I got some vibes from that one, like the whole pulling leeches off of him, or oh my god, I got a spider in my asshole. Look,
but that movie was funny.
Yeah,
and I think those two.
You don't think this was funny though?
I did not laugh a single time.
Oh, that's crazy. I laughed quite a few times. I don't. So
what did you think was funny in this?
This
is going to be one of those times where I'm like in another univerce. I think I had this with Gran Torino.
You're judging it too harshly because your friend said best rom-com I've ever seen.
No, I'm not. I did not find this movie funny even a little bit. I don't know honestly, what did you guys find funny? I just genuinely didn't see anything funny in this. What was funny?
I'm trying to. Just one off the top of my head is probably the airplane scene where she gets fucking stuck and she's like basically like fucking riding his face trying to.
I didn't.
You probably thought it was a stupid cringe line, but I thought easy squeezy Martin Scorsese was fucking hilarious.
I didn't catch that.
Because like, we gotta fake this. He's all easy squeezy Martin Scorsese. I was like,
I honestly, in fact, there were two lines. The two things I took out of this, like I took notes on them because they were like supposed to be funny moments, but like when she is like. She has her hand down his pants and she's like, do you have a mole on your butt? And she pulls out just a fucking giant spider. Like, that's dumb. That's not even funny. That's just dumb. Yeah. It's not funny. It's like childish. Like, you can't tell that like what you're holding in your hand is not a fucking mole on his ass. Like, what?
Okay. Well, now you're nitpicking like Dusty. I'm not nitpicking.
No. I'm making specific examples. The second thing that I mean, hang on.
Who does that?
Let me finish.
That's why it's kind of funny. Like,
the second thing,
hand down his tights.
The second thing that I noted is the token black friend who was like, when he walked in on him taking a shower or something, he's like, "Go off, get clean." Like, what? Just the writing was so fucking bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I laughed a few times, but just because I can't remember it doesn't mean that it's not funny.
No, that's fine. There are things that are funny in a vacuum or in certain like
exactly.
Context.
There were some jokes that but
I honestly didn't laugh once in this. I watched this like stone faced, to be perfect. I was just like, okay, well, so like for me, like there was, and you're saying like, what's a straight up rom-com? Like rom-com is a broad genre, but like they have like the general things. Like there is a fucking romance that you're watching. They're generally funny for a variety of reasons, but like the standard rom-com is just that. You're watching two people like go through the uncomfortable and awkward like human things that two people go through when they're meeting and like getting to know each other. And sometimes it's handled in a more realistic manner, and sometimes it's handled in like a more like outlandish comedic manner, and sometimes there's a hybrid of both. And an example of that is The Lost City. The Lost City is that, but in like an outlandish setting that's unrealistic. When Harry Met Sally is like a very realistic version of that, in my opinion.
Well, what's the one that's like where they're forced into it? And the proposal is probably the best example of what I think that, right? That's
yep.
Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, right?
Great movie, one of my favorites.
Yeah. So that one is like this is, if you're going to compare like two movies, or like we're forced in this situation, we got to act it out and we're going to fall in love. Like that's probably like the bar. The proposal is the bar, Marvin. So
yeah,
I don't know if we reviewed that one or not.
We haven't.
But if not, you should definitely watch that one, because that is
but I'm not even
what this movie could have been.
Well, yeah, but I'm not even talking about the plot, right? I'm just talking about like just what a rom-com is, because that came up a few minutes ago. So like, I don't think there's not a specific like you have to do this to be a rom-com. It is a broad spectrum. It could go either way. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I think, is probably regarded as like one of the best comedies, but also rom-coms. And that has a little bit of everything in there. There's like the realism, there's a little bit of drama, there's a little bit of like slapstick humor, there's a little bit of it. So it's got a little bit of everything. But for me, this was just trying to be a rom-com. I thought this was very, very poorly written in every way possible. Like the dialogue was just so bad that it sometimes like it really felt like I was watching a parody, especially the ending. Because that's another like noteworthy thing of a rom-com is they always have that like final conversation, right? Where it's like,
right.
This felt like, there's a fucking movie, I can't remember, but there's a movie that like has a rom-com in it. Like it's a movie within a movie. And the movie in the movie is like so fucking outlandish. This was like that movie in the movie.
That's funny.
It just was like, it felt like just like they were making fun of the genre with some of the dialogue. And the weakness is that they weren't making fun of it. It was being serious. So yeah, this was rough for me. And then there was just like, there was just like gratuitous nudity in this movie for like no reason that wasn't funny and served no purpose. And the best example of that was when he's in the kitchen talking to Margaret and she's like leaning over the fucking counter.
Yeah.
And you just see her full like breast and nipple under her shirt for no reason whatsoever. Like it serves no purpose. He doesn't react to it. It's just, it's just, hey, well, here's boob. Like
she's
for no reason.
She's trying to show him, and he's not reacting to it because.
Is that what that was? All right.
That's what it felt like. Like she's like, let me seduce this man and lean over so and show him some boob. He obviously doesn't react because, whatever. But
okay. Yeah. So there was that. Like he's naked like several times for like no reason. He's even naked
the Australian
in like
shower scene.
Yeah, the Australian.
Oh God.
Actually, okay, that's the one scene I did giggle at. I remember now. Okay. When he first meets the Australian surfer guy and he's like, so how do you guys know each other? She's like, we had a go back then, didn't we? And he's like, yeah. He's like, good on you, mate. And like that was it. That was the only time I giggled. Right. And it was like a slight like that was it. Rest of the movie, nope. The dad was like a bumbling buffoon, but also like Bruce Wayne level rich because he fucking flew everybody in the movie out to fucking Sydney. Right. And they were like in this comp. Like, just a very bizarre movie.
There was some cringe plot points to make the whole movie happen, though.
Yeah. But you guys
can't turn around, run a 30-foot boat in a sea channel. Like, no, that's not.
I know another hilarious moment to me when the two that were getting married were they were inside Bia and the main guy, I forgot his name. They were inside of the house. The two that were getting married were on the back porch, like doing the thing where they were like talking, trying to get them to be together or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they when they're hiding, they're like fucking nose to the fucking floor. I thought that was hilarious.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
Maybe you just didn't pay attention to the movie.
There were points where I did drift off.
Scrolling TikTok while the movie's
No, there were definitely points where I was definitely drifting, but like, yeah, I don't know. This didn't feel like a rom. This didn't like. I know it's a rom-com, but it wasn't. It was just. This was actually more like a Hallmark movie, like knockoff thing to me.
Maybe it definitely felt like a rom-com to me. It wasn't that great, and it was mainly the writing, but also Sydney Sweeney is not a great actress.
That's another thing too. Like, man,
she was like kind of like a fucking dead fish, just kind of going through the. She's good at doing like the sad girl thing, because she was like in Euphoria too, doing like a sad girl thing, and she's like good at the sad girl. Maybe it's just because she's like, I don't know, she's a pretty girl with the sad eyes. I don't really know, but she's not good anywhere else. She was funny. She was funny in the funny parts that you didn't think were funny, but
I don't like knocking actors. And I've said it before, a lot of times it's writing or direction, but like she felt like she was reading a fucking teleprompter.
Yeah.
Like the flattest acting I've ever seen. And he wasn't good, really. Like he was just bad.
I thought he was all right.
I think the black dude was terrible. Like they were just all fucking bad. And oh man. And like I made the joke in the beginning, it stars Sydney Sweeney's breasts. Like there was not a scene where her boobs weren't out.
I said it.
And like, they're very nice. I like them quite a bit, but like, does that have to be the whole crux of her character or like the whole crux of her as a person in general in real life? Like, is that she has big boobs? Even to the point where I'm pretty sure I'd have to speak to one of my women friends about this. I think they like put makeup in her cleavage to sort of accentuate the shadow, to accentuate the cleavage. Like,
I'm sure.
Holy fuck. Like, all right, we get it. She's got like big boobs. Like, enough.
Or they did it in post.
I don't know. But I don't know. This movie really just did nothing for me whatsoever. It's the, two perfect young couple. They're fucking gorgeous, both of them. They meet. Yeah. They're instantly attracted to each other, separated by a misunderstanding with fucking hijinks that happen. And then the misunderstanding is resolved. And then, movie ends. Like, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, I thought it was funny. I did want them to get together at the end of it all. I was somewhat invested in the movie, I guess. So, I don't know. Felt like a rom-com. Wasn't anything amazing. I definitely don't think it was bad.
Okay. Well, for me, plastic, unlikable characters and just the poorest attempts at comedy. Not really any romance there because I didn't buy their attraction at all. I cared more about the fucking chicks getting married than I did about these two.
We've been in a drought as far as good ones come and go, though, because even The Lost City was
I like the Lost City.
A bit of a letdown.
I like The Lost City. It had like everything. Cool. It had the adventure. It had the rom-com stuff. I like that movie. But yeah, this was rough.
I thought this was, like I said, my initial reaction was not much of a rom-com, but still fun and witty because I thought some of the jokes were pretty good.
I don't even think they had comedy. I mean, chemistry, rather. I don't think her and him had chemistry at all.
Wasn't great.
Like,
that's probably why it fell short.
And that's the thing you look for. No. Okay. That's the thing you look for in a rom-com,
Yeah.
And it's ironic that Dermot Mulroney, is that his name, is in this? Because he's like a famous like rom-com guy. He played the dad.
He's the dad.
Oh,
the buffoon dad who didn't know how to dive into a pool. Like, you don't know how to dive, dude.
He's been in quite a few.
That just buffoonery, just cartoonish bullshit that this movie had. I actually can't believe you guys liked it in any capacity. I'm shocked. This might be the furthest apart we are on anything because
no, we were pretty far apart on what's the name?
What?
Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon.
Oh, Rebel Moon.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I can't believe
pretty far apart on that.
There was nothing funny in this at all. Didn't laugh. Like, it just, everything felt forced. Like the comedy, instead of making jokes, they were just like, it's like the writer was screaming in my face, like, please laugh, please laugh, please laugh, please laugh.
Yeah, I mean, some of it was low hanging fruit, but some of it I thought was kind of witty as well. So,
and I just want to reiterate, I'm not trying to shit on her as an actor. I haven't seen anything else with her in it, but in this, she was not good in this for whatever reason, just not good.
I've only ever seen her in Euphoria, which was like an HBO show, and it was kind of a smallest part, but pretty much felt the same.
Well.
Yeah,
she was also in Madam Web, which is not doing something.
Yeah, is she the lead in that, or is she like the? Okay,
she's not in Madam Web. She plays one of the Spider Girls.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess to each his own. I don't know. For me, there was no rom, there was no com, and I would give this. I would rate it has a 6.4. I'm gonna give it a 1. Just
wow.
Nothing about it. Not a thing about it that I liked. Other than
count. You gotta start stacking up how many ones you've given out.
I mean, this was insulting. Really. I almost thought about not finishing it. What about you, Mark?
Had a couple lately.
I'm definitely giving this like a 6. 6.5 or something like that for sure.
Okay.
And
it's not worth the 1 point bump for me. It's worth it's a 6.
Is that? I mean, honestly, and like the Natasha Bedingfield choice was amazing as well. So I love that little scene at the end where they're flipping to everyone singing it.
Yeah, all right.
I loved it. That was good.
Yeah. I need you guys to articulate a little bit more about what you liked about it because I didn't hear much.
I told you it was fun and witty. I laughed plenty of times. Like, it was not a rom-com in the way that I felt, but it had that rom-com feel. But I mean, I laughed. So
I laughed, like I said, and I did root for them to be together at the end. I mean, again, like a rom-com to me.
Some stupid cringe stuff that I fucking nitpick at. Like, you can't turn around a boat that is fucking 3 feet in the water and you're in a deep sea channel. Like, you get the fuck out of here. That's dumb. Just to get on a helicopter. That's the plot. But yeah, no. Would I watch it again or recommend to watch like over some of the other rom-coms? Like you said, I love rom-coms, but
like I said, I never said I loved it, and it's like amazing.
Like I'm more insulted by the fact that you guys actually found it funny. I like literally I can't. There was just not a single moment that I thought was funny. Like what? I wish I could be in your guys' heads to be like, what the fuck was funny about? Like, I want to watch.
You don't even remember the fucking parts
because it wasn't funny. It wasn't memorable. The parts that were supposed to be funny, like, were just fucking cringy because they felt like forced. Like it was like an AI wrote this, and it's like, this is what's funny in this moment. Like, good lord, oh my god. Like, what's funny about her pulling a spider out of his pants? Like, are we children? That's what I don't understand. Like, what's funny about that?
I don't know.
What's funny about, like, hey, we're touching each other's. Are they watching? No. Oh, fuck. We did all this for nothing. Like, what is funny about it? I don't get it. I think, like, an AI wrote this movie, for real. This is like...
Who actually wrote this?
Will Gluck and Ilana Wolpert, whom... I don't know. She's wrote some weird shit. I don't know what she's wrote. Nothing of note. But... yeah, no, this was, man, rough. Okay. I actually wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy. Just saying. Like, I would not waste your fucking time sitting there.
Is there, Dan, do you believe in the gray?
The gray?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Or is everything just black and white to you?
Well, no, what do you mean?
I don't know. You have it's always terrible or like amazing.
That's not true.
Part.
No, that's not true.
It's like a rare in between with you.
No. I've given very
What
mid-level.
do you think, Dusty?
Yeah, you mostly give raving or raging reviews. There's not many mids.
I've given plenty of mid-level reviews.
But maybe it's our selection because we, in Make Marvin Watch, we're choosing movies we love. So
that's a good point.
We can rave and talk about. And then some of the stuff we just have to pick for Phil in the month is we get lucky sometimes, but sometimes we don't because, like you said, Saltburn, he gave a 1, and this he gave a 1. So he's on a roll of giving shit reviews for what we've been watching lately.
That's because we're watching soulless fucking content that has no business being on screen. That's why. And I'm sorry, they're bad. They're just bad movies. I gave a fucking 6 review when we talked about fucking... I don't even remember. I got to go back and look. One of the ones recently, I was just like, hey, yeah, that was okay. It was all right. Nothing great, nothing good. But like, I say this all the time. Like, I would rather fucking absolutely hate something than be like middle of the road. Hey, yeah, like whatever. Did nothing to me.
Yeah, I can get that, I guess. But
no, this isn't me being funny or like me trying to like, create content for the, I did not see a single redeeming quality of this movie. And I won't even make the joke because it's crude, but like other than, you know what I'm going to say.
Yep.
So it's like
loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
I hate to see it.
I just can't believe people got paid for this fucking movie.
Yeah.
I'm speechless by this one. But anyhow, glad you guys found something you liked in it, because yeah. But let us know, folks, what you guys think of Anyone But You in the comments. Did you hate it as much as I did, or were you kind of like, did you like it? Yeah. I'm actually just bewildered. I'm trying to think about it and like, was there anything else that I enjoyed? But nah. I mean, it was pretty to look at. Sydney seems pretty beautiful. I ain't gonna go there because there's big ass fucking spiders.
Yeah, right.
And everything wants to kill you, but it looks pretty on screen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess my final takeaway is like, there's like there's cliche that you come to expect when you watch a movie like this. This was more of a caricature than a cliche. And I don't think that's a really good thing. But
sure, I can see that. Yeah.
But yeah, let us know, folks. Let us know in the comments. There's our thoughts. We will be back next week. Is next week the Make Marvin Watch episode? No, right?
Yep. That's the last week of the...
It is last week.
Yeah. Okay, so we will see you guys next week where we make Marvin watch Shaun of the Dead for the first time. To be sure to come back and check that out. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing. Leave a like on the videos. It's very helpful. And you could reach out to us on Twitter or check out our website where all our links exist at harshlanguage.tv. But thanks for watching or listening. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Hasta.